Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to SR Dr. Ahmad Faiz. Today our group will present about development process which prepared by Irfan, Ernie, Nigel and Nurul Fatihah. As for the table of content for our presentation is introduction, literature review, research methodology, data analysis, conclusion and references.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurul Fatihah and I would like to explain on introductions. Kota Samarkand's urban growth. So Kota Samarkand is rapidly evolving from a rural town into Sarawak's education and medical hub. Driven by infrastructure development and sustainable policies, it's now a prime location for living and investment. Mixed-use development play a key role, combining housing, retail, and community spaces into one vibrant and walkable area. This presentation highlights a new project designed to offer affordable, eco-friendly homes and a lively commercial center. The goal is to meet rising demand and support Kota Semarang's sustainable, inclusive urban future.
Now I will explain about the introduction of mixed-use development in Malaysia. Firstly is urban planning essential. Mixed-use development blend residential, commercial and industrial spaces to maximize land efficiency and support urban growth. Second one is sustainability and biophilic design. By integrating natural element enhance environmental sustainability, will improve air quality and promotes occupant well-being. Lastly is the challenges in occupant satisfaction. Some of the residents will be struggle with high living costs and expectation not being met, leading to mixed feedback.
Greetings, my name is Nigel Adam and I will talk about the development cycle. Now, what exactly is that? Well, think of it as the journey of a project takes starting from just an idea all the way until the building is finally complete and ready to use. The development cycle usually includes a few key steps. First, there is land acquisition, which means buying the land. Then, a feasibility study is done to check if the project makes sense. After that comes the design phase, followed by securing financing, purchasing materials, carrying out the construction, and finally managing the building once it's finished. But that's not all, because this whole process can be affected by a number of things like how strong the economy is, how much demand there is in the market, government rules and policies, and even the overall financial climate. At every stage of the cycle, developers and investors have to carefully weigh the risks and potential profits. They constantly asking themselves, is this project still worth continuing? And when things are managed properly, the development cycle can actually help keep costs down, reduce financial risk, and improve long-term profits. And beyond just the project itself, the development cycle also impacts the construction industry more broadly. It affects job opportunities, the price of materials, and even the wider economy. So, as you can see, understanding the development cycle is very important, not just for construction professionals, but for anyone involved in property or development. It helps us make smarter decisions and plan for long-term success. So moving forward, let us take a look at the inception stage in the development cycle of construction economics. This is basically the starting point of any construction project when an idea first comes to life. At this stage, developers and investors explore opportunities, set their goals, and do early research to see if the project is possible. It all starts with project conceptualization, where the main idea is shaped based on market needs, community demands, or potential returns. This is also when they think about the purpose of the project, whether it is for housing, business, or public use, and who it is meant for. If the idea looks promising, then they will move on to feasibility studies. This means checking if the project can work in terms of the cost, design, laws, and long-term management. If the risks seem too high, they may stop the project, but if it looks good, they go to the next step, which is site selection. This means choosing the right piece of land. This is important because location affects the value, access, legal approvals, and even future success. And after that, we have preliminary cost estimation. This gives a rough idea of how much the project will cost, which is from buying land to building and running it. If the cost is too high, early changes can still be made. Another important part is the stakeholder engagement. This means involving people like investors, government bodies, and even the local community early on. Their input helps shape the project and makes it easier to get support and approvals. And finally, risk assessment. Here, developers identify problems that might affect the project, like legal issues, environmental impact, or financial risks, and plan on how to manage all of that. So, overall, the inception stage is all about turning an idea into a solid plan by checking if it's realistic, profitable, and worth doing. Next, we move on to the design stage. This is the part where early ideas are turned into actual detailed plans. It is super important because it helps make sure the project can really be built the way it is imagined and that it stays within budget. During this stage, designers work on drawings and layouts, cost estimates are prepared, and sustainability features are considered. Risk management plans are made, and developers also start applying for the necessary approvals. First, we have detailed design development. This is when architects and engineers prepare full drawings and technical plans from the structure to electrical, plumbing, and even the materials. Everything needs to follow the building rules and be ready for construction. Next is cost estimation and budgeting. Here, the team will estimate on how much the whole project will cost. This includes the materials, labor, and even future maintenance. Getting this right helps keep the project on budget and avoid any mistakes later on. Then there is sustainability. This means designing in a way that's good for the environment, like using energy saving systems and green materials. The goal is to reduce impact and make the project eco-friendlier and more cost-effective in the long run. And then we also have risk management, and this is about spotting problems before they happen, such as the design errors or supply issues, and planning to avoid delays and extra costs. And then lastly, regulatory approval. Before moving forward, the design must be checked and approved by the authorities. This makes sure everything follows local laws and safety rules. If not, the design may need changes which can slow things down. Now we continue to the in-use stage. This stage starts once the building is completed and people begin using it. The main focus here is on running the building smoothly. That means managing daily operations, keeping things safe, checking if everything works as it should, and making improvements when needed. It is also about handling the costs wisely and using sustainable practices like saving energy and water to keep the building efficient and affordable in the long run. In short, this stage is all about making sure the building performs well for years to come. And then we have the operational management. So it means taking care of daily things like maintenance, security, water, and electricity. Good management keeps the building running smoothly, safe to use, and helps avoid costly repairs later. After that, performance evaluation. It means checking if the building works as planned. Are people happy? Is it energy efficient? Regular reviews help spot what needs fixing or improving. And next is financial management. This is all about tracking the costs like the utility bills or maintenance and making sure the building stays profitable, especially if it's earning from rent. Sometimes buildings need adaptation and modifications. This could mean renovations, technological upgrades, or making spaces more flexible as needs change. And finally, sustainability practices. Using eco friendly systems, saving water and energy, and reducing waste not only helps the planet but also cuts costs and can boost the building's value. Finally, the demolition stage. This is where old buildings are taken down to make way for something new. But it is not just about breaking things off because it has to be done safely, legally, and in line with environmental rules. That means proper handling of waste and recycling as much as possible to reduce harm to the environment. Firstly, before any building comes down, the team will check the site, looks for hazardous things like asbestos, and make sure the things such as electricity and water are shut off. Then they plan on how the demolition will happen and they choose on what tools to use, the safety steps, and the timeline. And it's all about being ready and staying safe. Next is the regulatory compliance. This means that you cannot just start demolish things down. The team needs proper permits and must follow safety and environmental laws. This helps avoid delays, fines, and keeps the whole process legal and eco-friendly. Then comes the actual demolition. There are different ways to do it, such as using big machineries, explosives, or even careful dismantling to reuse materials. Whatever method is used, safety is a top priority with PPE and site controls to protect everyone. Furthermore, demolition creates a lot of waste, but not all of it needs to go to the landfill. Things like metal, wood, and concrete can often be recycled. A solid waste plan keeps things green and lowers disposal costs. And lastly is the cost considerations. We all know that demolition is not free. There are costs for labor, machines, permits, and waste handling. Having a clear estimate helps keep the budget on track and supports good decision making for the rest of the project.
So next is land tenure and regulations. So Malaysia land administration system is deeply influenced by British colonial policies, particularly the introductions of the Torrent system in 1897, which established formal land registration. So today, land tenure in Malaysia is governed by a combination of legal, customary, religious, and informal system. There are three main types of land tenure. So first one is freehold. Freehold gives the owner indefinite rights to the land with minimal restriction. Next one is leasehold. Leasehold provide ownership for a fixed term, commonly 99 years or 999 years, after which the land reverts to the state. Lastly, customary tenure refers to indigenous ownership system, especially among Malays and Orang Asli, where land is governed by communal rules and inheritance customs. So what is the key challenges in land tenure? So the key challenges is firstly, insecurity of customary land. Indigenous groups often lack formal land title, which limits development and increase the risk of eviction. Second one, multiple ownership. Land with many co-owners are difficult to develop or finance because all parties must agree. Lastly, legal complexity. So varying law across states can create a confusion and conflict between modern regulations and traditional practices. What is the recommended solution? So first one is integration of land information system, unifying data between state and federal land registries. Next one, formalizing customary right by granting legal recognition to indigenous land ownership. Lastly, public education. which is raising awareness about land rights and responsibilities.
Next is the growth of mixed development in Malaysia, the definition and concept of mixed-use development. Mixed-use development, according to Han 2022, that defines the idea of mixed-use development has changed a lot over the time. James Jacobs played an important role in shaping it by rejecting the old ideas of spreading the places for living, working, and relaxing. She believed that mixing these uses makes cities more lively and connected. As you as we can see today, mixed-use buildings often stack different functions such as shops, offices, restaurants, and home on top of each other, especially in crowded cities, to save space and use it wisely. Record 2021 also ended that mixed development means combine different types of land use, such as homes, business, factories, and park within one project or area. This helps create active, community-friendly places and reduce the need for car. In the past, successful mixed-use area blended city activities and are now used as models for modern planning. This includes mixing living spaces with workplace or shops in the same building. The main goal is to use land more effectively while keeping a good mix of daily activities in one area. Next is the economic and social benefit of mixed use. First is cost saving. By sharing facilities like mooring and power cables, project can save money on permits, installation, and maintenance. Just for example, less than 5% of the total cost, according to Enders 2004. Second is share infrastructure and logistic. Different activities can share transport, supply chains, and other services. It, it can reduce the cost, improve on how things run, and help the environment. Uh, Thirdly is efficient use of space. Putting different users in the same area such as ocean space, safe space, and protect nature. It also prevents losing important natural benefits. Four is enhance economic activities. By mixing uses allows more business and work to happen in one space, especially in tight areas like oceans. This can boost productivity. Thirdly is public benefits from ecosystem services. Even if commercial fishing is limited, but mixed-use setups can still support the seafood production and recreation like boating and fishing, helping both nature and people. The challenges in planning and executing mixed-use development. Firstly is scale and human experience. Large mixed-use projects can feel too big and impersonal. It's very important to design them with a human scale so they can comfortable and easy for people to use. Secondly is manage the blank frontages. There are many mixed-use buildings have plain, empty walls facing the street, which makes the area less attractive and lively. Thirdly is social responsibility. Retailer and service provider in this development usually does not work together. It's creating a disconnected environment. But it's be better planning can make the space more uniform and interesting. Next is the lack of flexibility. Some residential areas in mixed-use projects cannot easily change into offices or hotels when the market changes. This can cause problems later if the original use are not longer fits. Next is generic understanding of mixed use. The developer and local councils often have a basic view of what mixed use means. This can lead to boring and poorly designed buildings that don't meet the community needs. Besides that, the understanding local demand, planners sometimes create the projects without really understanding what the local community wants or needs. This can lead to developments that does not meet the actual demands. Lastly, integration with surrounding area. If the development does not connect with nearby area, it can become an isolated block instead of improving the whole project. Next is for the future trends in mixed-use development. Firstly, integration of biophilic design. The idea of connecting people with nature in cities is become more popular. This involves adding the natural elements like plants and green spaces into buildings, streets, blocks, and neighborhoods. These features can be included in mixed-use development in Malaysia to improve the quality of life. Uh, Secondly is the technological integration. By using the smart technologies in mixed-use development is expected to grow. This includes smart system including energy saving technology and digital platforms to improve services. These tools can help manage resources better and make city living easier and more comfortable. Thirdly is flexibility and adaptability. The future mix uh, use development needs to be flexible and able to change as people's lifestyles and needs change. The spaces should be designed to serve many purposes and be easy to adjust when needed to stay useful over the time. Next is focus on health and well-being. There is more awareness of health in city planning. The future development will likely include things like walking paths, parks, and wellness centers to support physical and mental health. Besides that, the sustainability and resilience feature, the development will focus more on being environmentally friendly and able to handle climate changes. They will aim to meet the United Nations goal for sustainable cities by including green spaces and using eco-friendly practices. Community-focused designs, there is a stronger push to design spaces that bring people together and build community bonds. Mixed-use development will include public spaces for social interaction, which also fits with the idea of biophilic cities that support human well-being.
So next is sustainable design in mixed-use development. So sustainable design is now a core priority in urban planning. It aims to minimize environmental impact, improve resource efficiency, and enhance occupant well-being. What is the role of policy in sustainability? So policies set the rules that guide urban planning, development, and land use, ensure environmental, social, and economic goals are met fairly. It helps avoid issues like gentrification, social exclusion, and resource mismanagement. So, what is the importance of sustainability in modern urban development? Firstly, it tackles challenges from rapid urbanization and climate change. It reduces pollution, improves community well-being, and support economic resilience. And lastly, it enhances quality of life while protecting future generations. So next is four principle of sustainable design in mixed-use project. First one is holistic approach. Design must consider environmental, social, and economic impact together. Next is number two, circularity. Materials are reused, recycled to reduce waste. Third one, regenerative design. Project restore ecosystem, not just avoid damage. The fourth one is innovation and tech. Use of smart tools for efficient and future-proof solution. Next, strategies for energy efficiency, waste reduction, and resource management. Energy efficiency, passive design, solar panels, and smart lighting. Waste reduction, which is modular construction, designed for disassembly and on-site recycling. Resource management, life cycle assessment, which is LCA, rainwater harvesting, rainwater system, eco-materials such as bamboo and hempcrete. Lastly, balancing sustainability goals with financial and operational constraints. Sustainable future may have high upfront costs but offer long-term saving. Use green supply chain finance (GSCF) or tailored funding models to support projects. Developers must balance eco goals with market realities like material costs, investor return, and demand. Lastly, regular review, stakeholder collaboration, and smart investment help ensure the sustainability remain practical and profitable.
As for the research methodology, for the dual data approach, this study combined quantitative primary data, questionnaire survey with secondary data, literature review of peer-reviewed journal, institutional reports, and reputable website. As for the primary data collection, conducted semi-structured interview via WhatsApp with local authorities, overcoming geographical barrier while ensuring ethical compliance through prior consent. As for the secondary data utilization, leverage existing research to contextualize findings, drawing from academic publication and organizational reports to support primary data. As for the methodology advantage, mixed method design will enhance validity, and digital tools improve efficiency and accessibility.
Firstly, the suitable development for the selected site. The proposed development site is in Kota Samarhan, Sarawak, near useful places like Sri Sidang Gate House, car wash, and Masjid Al Mahdi Mosque. The location offers both city and nature experience. Since the land is mostly flat, construction is easier and needs less groundwork. This area is become popular due to its good road access to places like Unimas and the Pemborneo Highway that attracting people and investors. The nearby area show a mix of traditional and modern land use, reflecting Kota Samarahan's change from a rural area to a growing area. The mosque shows the site's cultural and community importance, while business like the guest house and car wash help the local economy. So tests suggest it is suitable for medium-sized building, but more checks are needed to confirm it can support construction and manage drainage properly. The future development must follow sustainable practices, protect the community's identity, and fit well with the local environment and services. For site analysis, the land is located at Lot 111, Block 2, Samarhan Land District in Sidang, Kota Samarhan, Sarawak. It covers about 13.759 hectares. It is classified as native area land and town land, and it can only be used for agriculture as stated in the special condition of the land title. The land title was registered on 6 August 1999 and it held forever in perpetuity. The land is full owned by Syarikat Nasihat Sdn Bhd. The key updates in 1999 and 1993, it was declared as suburban land, and in 1926 the annual rent was removed so no rent needs to be paid. In 2022, the category and grade of the land were revised according to a government notice. Now, this is the land title that we buy from ILACs for this uh, for this project. Here is background of local authority. The Sarawak Planning Authority (SPA) is the main local authority that in charge of planning and development in Sarawak. It makes sure all the development follow the state goal for city planning, sustainability, and community welfare. SPA is very important in decide how land is used, zoning rules, and planning infrastructure. This helps cities, towns, and rural areas in Sarawak grow properly. SPA was created to solve problems like uncontrolled development, environmental damage, and poor planning coordination. Its goals is to manage land and development in organized and proper way. SPA works under the Sarawak State Government and follow the Town and Country Planning Ordinance, which is the law for all planning in the state. It reviews and approves all types of development projects, big or small, to make sure they follow rules and support balanced growth, protect the environment, and benefits the community. Besides approving the projects, SPA also does long-term planning. It works together with government bodies, local councils, and private developers to make master plans and land policies that help guide the physical, social, and economic growth of Sarawak, support the sustainable development, improve the transport, and make life better for the people. Next, I will explain the plot ratio. In Chapter 40 of the Development Control Standard (DCS), explain that plot ratio is an important tool used to control the development. Plot ratio is limits the total floor area of a building compared to the size of the land, but it does not limit the height or shape of the building. This helps to avoid the overloading public facilities and still allow flexible building design. To calculate plot ratio, divide the total floor area inside all building levels by the gross area site area, original land size before any deduction like road reserve. Then multiply by 100%. Plot ratio helps local authorities control how much can be built in different areas. It used to set development rules, decide on land use, and assess land value. It also helps developers design buildings that meet the rules while giving them freedom to choose for various building styles. Next is the process of development. The definitions of land development is the process of changing land for new uses, such as home, businesses, or factories. It includes planning, building and manage the land to use it in a smart and sustainable way. Next is categories of land development. Commercial development. This is involve building spaces for business such as office, shops, and service center. The goals is to support business activities and reduce travel needs. In industrial development, this uses land for factories and production. It can happen in industrial park or on its own, with attention to appearance and reducing pollution and noises. Lastly is residential development. This turns into safe and affordable housing. It includes projects like resettlement to solve problems like illegal squatting. Uh, Next is phase of land development. Land development usually happen in three main stages. Firstly is pre-development phase, construction phase, and post-construction phase. This is the land development process. Firstly is application received by respective superintendent, processing the site inspection by PO, Next is retained or PO refer application to SPA through DLS. The planning advice screen application and make recommendation to SPA. Secretary of SPA planning advisor tables application at SPA meeting. Lastly, the Secretary SPA planning advisor convene decision to respective superintendent with copy to DLS. On this slide is the overview of the Sarawak construction permit process. Uh, Firstly, in for professional register, register as a qualified person with State Planning Authority, submit Form A through Ministry of Resource Planning and Environment, Planning and Land, apply a planning permission to Department Land and Survey LNS. LNS will screen application and forward to SPA for consideration. Divisional Land Superintendent receive decision from SPA and deliver to applicant. In building planning, submission to local authority, building and landscape division, engineering division, public health division, and licensing division. BP application Form A include certificate of building or structure. Form B is certificate of structure and submission to technical agencies, fire and rescue services department, and land and survey department. Commencement of work. Form C, notice of commencement, resumption of building operation. Form D is the notice of complication of setting out. Form E is the notice of complication of excavation for foundations. Technical and agency comply all technical agency requirement and obtain all certificate of completion such as fire, water, and electricity sewerage. Lastly, for the OP, Form F is application for the issue of occupation permit. The application of occupation permit must be made by the person who submit the building plan. Lastly is Form G, issuance of the OP. This is the fee or charge that imposed in the development process. For ₱200, register has qualified person SPA based on the ESPA system. Charge apply once the application is approved. For ringgit is building planning building plan submitted for approval based on the Sarawak Building Ordinance 1994 under Schedule A. For ringgit for per form, certification fee for addressing a copy of a prescribed form as a true copy based on the Sarawak Building Ordinance 1994 under Schedule A. OP permit, uh, no fee are required. Next is the state authority requirement and procedure in Malaysia. First, eligibility. Sarawak native. Only native can own native area land and native customary rights (NCR) land. These lands are reserved for indigenous people and cannot be sold to non-native. Non-native nation and permanent residents, they can own mixed zone land, not allowed to own null or NCR lands. Foreigners, generally restricted from owning land, but some exceptions apply, can buy property in special development area, can own strata units such as apartments, but they cannot buy low-cost residential properties now or properties reserved for native, vacant land or landed commercial properties. Second is required document for land purchase for individuals. must submit the My Card for local or passport for foreigners, companies, company registration and board resolution, final financial document, bank statement or land approval for property details, land or strata title, uh, sale and purchase agreement if any. Lastly, lastly, for the approval, foreigners must get approval from Sarawak government, survey department, consent needed if land has restriction. Thirdly, the application to register has a qualified person for land development proposal must submit the certified copies of identity card and Sarawak ID, academic and professional certificates, resume and employment letter if any, and company document from Form 49, Form 24 if relevant. For building land submission, who can submit the building land submission? Registered architect, engineer or building planning, qualified person under Sarawak Building Ordinance 1994, type of plan, architect, all building plan except engineering details, engineer, engineering plans, building planner, certain building plan within approved limits. Agencies who are involved are Land and Survey Department give feedback, and Fire and Rescue Department Bomba must approve commercial industry, flat condos. For approval time, usually take at least 3 months, assuming no objection. In this slide, it shows the checklist for bahagian bangunan kelulusan, plan bangunan, and here it shows the flowchart for the procedure of building plan submission. And for this slide, it shows the submission of building plan flowchart and the form that submitted for building plan approval. Before construction, Form C and D is contents of the notice to commence construction. It tells authorities construction is about to start based on approved plan. For the Form D is the notice of setting out that confirms site boundaries and building layout are marked properly on site watching the approved plan. That is the example for Form C and Form D. Then for Form E and F after construction, submitted to city architect and DPKU, an inspection is carried out to ensure the building follow the approved plan. The bomber also inspect commercial, industrial, flats and condo buildings. Uh, Lastly, for occupation permit, only apply once all plan conditions are met. No objection for must be raised by building section, engineering division, public health licensing, fire and rescue department. Usually issue within 2 days after Form E and F are submitted by the qualified person. That's in the pictures that show in the slide. That is the process for application for OP, which is uh, categorized as Form G. According to Junaidi 2018 in Sarawak, how land is used and owned is closely controlled to support the sustainable development and protect local communities. It is done through land law, ownership rules, development requirements, and regular checks by the authorities. The State Planning Authority (SPA) and local governments set zoning rules that decide on how land can be used, such as for the homes, businesses, or farming. These rules make sure all development follows state policies and long-term planning goals. Certain lands, especially those involving forest fire or large scale purchase, have ownership restriction to protect the local people from losing control over land. Developers should follow the strict conditions when building, this including the protecting the environment, providing needed infrastructure, and involving the community. This helps to ensure the development benefits everyone and avoid harms to the nature or society. Even after the project is finished or complete, the authorities continue to inspect and monitor land use to make sure the rules are followed and no issues happen. Overall, these land rules aim to balance development needs with environmental care and community welfare. By strictly applying these policies, Sarawak promotes land use sustainable economy, growth, and stability. Next is all planning approval requests, such as whether for dividing land or for development, must be sent to the Divisional Land and Survey Department, which handles land matters in Sarawak and is based in Kuching. Also, getting approval from the State Planning Authority (SPA) is a must for any development to go ahead. As you guys can see, that is how the process SPA approval for proposed development. The Sarawak Strata Title Ordinance 1995 sets the basic rules for people who own strata titles. It explains the legal steps for dividing buildings into separate units, especially buildings with more than 5 floors. Developers need to understand this law because it also gives rules on how shared area in the building are managed through a management corporation (MC). For example, as shown in the pictures, that is the how Strata Title Ordinance 1995 managed for uh, the procedure for convention and subdivision. Procedure for convention and subdivision. Establish of the management corporation. When the title for a subdivided building is given, the developer must help set up the management corporation (MC). The MC is responsible for taking care of the managing the share area of the building. Then after that, the MC will be in charge of manage the whole property. And for the application for certificate state authority, to get the certificate from the state authority, follow the strict and systematic process to meet all the legal and regulatory requirements. For this certificate is important for confirming things such as land ownership, development approval, occupancy right, variance based on the type of certificate. Third is the process start with submitting all the applications to the right state body, such as land and survey department, local government offices. The applicant must provide several documents that should include the proof of land ownership, development plans, environmental impact report if needed, and evidence of following zoning rules. Next is the application is is then reviewed to ensure it meets all the conditions. The property development common requirement certificate include planning approval, building permit, and certificate of fitness for occupations. Next is for planning approval checks, zoning compliance, environmental standard, infrastructure requirement. The building permit allows the construction while making sure safety and building standards are followed. After construction, the final inspection is done. If approved, a CFO is given so the property can be legally used. For land ownership certification, application for land titles go to land officers where they are verified the ownership and check if fees are paid. Then ensure compliance with land law. The authorities may also set the conditions on land use to match national or regional plans and state the authorities oversee every step to keep the land use legal and or organized, prevent disputes, and support sustainable and community-friendly and land development. Application for certificate state authority in Malaysia. In Malaysia, to get the certificate to land that related to land, such as land title, planning approval, building permits, and CCS, should follow and strict and detail the legal process. The key authorities or the involved include Land and Mines Office, Pejabat Tanah dan Galian (PTG), local authorities, then planning committee. The third is to own land, apply for a land title at the Stands Land and Mine Office, then submit the requirement documents that are needed, such as proof of ownership, land survey report, and fees. For property development, start by getting the planning approval from local authorities or the state planning committee. Submit a development plan including a site design, zoning proof, and environmental impact report if needed. Then get the building plan approval from the local council to meet the safety and construction law. After construction is done, the certificate of completion and compliance (CCC) is needed before anyone can use the building. The CCC confirms the building meets all legal standards and replace the old certificate of fitness for occupations (CFO) and must be issued by a qualified professional such as architect and engineer, not the local council. For changing land use or ownership, should stand the approval is needed, especially for Malay reserve land or land owned by foreigners. The applicants must follow the specific rules and get stand permission before making changes or completing the transfer.
To conclude, this proposed mixed-use development in Kota Samarahan has a lot going for it. Its location is a big win because it is close to universities and hospitals, hence making it ideal for students, working professionals, and families. That means steady demand. We are also seeing a real shift in the market. People want affordable homes, greener living, and places that feel like real community. This project taps into all of that. By having both homes and shops in the same place, the project does not rely on just one source of money, but it helps reduce risk and brings in income in different ways. Plus, With Kota Samarahan growing and urbanizing fast, property values are likely to rise, making this a smart and long-term investment. So overall, this project is in the right place at the right time with the right features, which is designed to benefit not just investors but the whole community. Thank you for listening.